On this week's edition of JBLE-TV, you'll hear one man's story of being one of the original Tuskegee Airmen. We'll show you how the 633rd Security Forces Airmen have a new way of training. And finally, what the Airmen Committed to Excellence Committee is all about. These stories and more coming up on this week's edition of JBLE-TV. Hello and welcome to JBLE-TV. I'm Airman First Class Christina Lacoste. The Tuskegee Airmen were the first African-American military aviators in the United States Armed Forces. Airman First Class Enrique Barcelo was able to interview a remarkable man named Ezra Hill, who witnessed it all firsthand. This is his story.
The Tuskegee Airmen played a pivotal role in our nation's history. Thanks in part to their efforts, segregation in the military came to an end. And while it's one thing to read about it in history books, it's quite another to hear about it firsthand.
My name is Ezra M. Hill. I am one of the original Tuskegee Airmen. I started in 1947 to 1967. I was the last Tuskegee Airman to join.
It was the beginning of the Second World War, and many Americans were ready to fight. The problem was that many of those Americans were black and weren't allowed to serve their nation.
Segregation was a big thing in the country. You know, I'm from Washington, D.C., and I remember as a kid I had to get on the back of the bus, and I couldn't, it had a white line, and I couldn't get in front of it, I couldn't sit there. Then the military was just as bad, it was segregated.
It was during this time period that the Tuskegee Airmen were formed, an all-black squadron who escorted bombers. They flew almost twice as many missions as white pilots. However, this did not earn them the recognition they deserved.
Most of our pilots were first lieutenants. They deserved to be captains and majors. They had been over there fighting, and they shot down the first German jet. They just created all types of history while they were there.
In wartime, the color of your skin made no difference. It was all about who had your back. In the case of the bombers, it was the high-flying Tuskegee Airmen that brought them home safely.
You have to depend on me, and that's why the service got real close, because they depended on each other.
After the military had begun to bridge the gap between races, it was up to the rest of the United States to follow suit. This would be easier said than done, and no one knew this better than Mr. Hill's commander, Colonel Benjamin O. Davis, Jr.
He would have us all together and say, you think you fought a war in Germany? Get ready, we're getting ready to fight a war here. We're gonna make a big change in this country. And I think the president said, you're the one that changed this nation, pointed to the Tuskegee Airmen.
The Tuskegee Airmen's hard work and dedication to their country were on display for the whole nation. They helped pave the way for the civil rights movement, all while keeping the right mentality.
It's not the pigmentation of your skin. It's 12 inches from your brain to your heart. Know-how and character, that's where you judge a person. That's the only way.
And it was that same know-how and character that Ezra M. Hill, a Tuskegee Airman, helped change our nation. Airman First Class Enrique Barcelo, Langley Air Force Base, Virginia.
Thanks for helping. Yeah.
The 633rd Security Forces Squadron has a new resourceful way to conduct training. Senior Airman Jordan Garner has more.
Military defenders need the most advanced and cost-effective training to prepare for real-life situations. Langley's 633rd Security Forces Squadron accomplishes that goal with the new weapons simulator.
Because we used to have old training systems where you used to have to hook it up and it would be a cord. This one works off compressed air, so it enables you to put it into your holster, do your magazine changes just if you were doing it in a real-life scenario. So it corrects the problematic shooter, which enables the Air Force not to spend so much money for people having to do refires, because every time somebody refires, it costs the Air Force more money.
This weapons simulator helps defenders prepare to save lives and the Air Force money. Senior Airman Jordan Garner, Langley Air Force Base, Virginia.
I'm hungry. Who are you? I'm you.
You left your common access card in the computer. Thanks to you, I can compromise personnel information and other sensitive data.
No, what have I done?
Community involvement is a big part of being an airman. Airman First Class Haley Benson joins us to talk about the Airmen Committed to Excellence Committee. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
Hey,
Thanks for having me.
joining us. So can you tell us a little bit about ACE?
Sure. ACE stands for Airmen's Committed to Excellence. It's an organization that allows airmen to come out and actually have a voice. They can participate in all sorts of different things wing-wide, volunteer events, career development events, morale events, and any type of fundraiser that they'd like to do as well. We kind of set that up for them, give them the floor to participate in those types of events. They're able to get more involved with dorm residents and feel like they're kind of a part of something a little bit larger than just maybe their squadron or flight and whatnot. So,
what do you see as far as projects that are going to be coming up?
Oh, wow, we have a lot. We have a lot. We have kind of a Chief Shadow Day, so that's when airmen can go and shadow a chief. That's going to be really exciting. We're excited about that. It's a career development type of event. But we have a lot of morale events coming up in the springtime and in the summer. Maybe working with the chaplain services, they have kind of a single airmen's association where they do kind of like white water rafting trips, really fun stuff, bowling here on base, going to the movies, maybe seeing a hockey game together, just to raise morale within the community of the airmen here, which we're really excited about.
Awesome. Is there anything else you'd like to add about ACE?
It's a great organization. We have a lot of fun. We're very dedicated. We're very focused on being the best airmen that we can be. And then the more the merrier. It's great.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you for joining us. And thanks for watching this week's edition of JBLE-TV. Tune in next week to hear about Command Chief Master Sergeant Jack Johnson's visit to Langley Air Force Base. I'm Airman First Class Christina Lacoste. See you next time.